Right, so I've come along to Odstock in Wiltshire near Salisbury today, and I've come along to visit St Mary's Church at Odstock here. It's an ancient church with a long history, but there's a particular story that I just wanted to go through today. So this is the church, as I say, got a long ancient history. Lovely big porchway there, and there's the door, and that will come into the story. So this is the churchyard, typical old churchyard. There's some yew trees here. They don't seem to have any particular age to them. This one by the church, he's a bit of age, but they're not ancient as you get in some of these old churchyards. So we're going to go back to the late 18th century now. The tale I'm going to tell you is from 1801, so just the start of the 19th century. But what used to happen in those days, there used to be bands of Romany gypsies who used to travel about, and they used to work on the farms and do all sorts. So they were just itinerant workers and that, and they would help out on farms and do all sorts of things like that. And they got on with the local people and that. I don't think there were lots of problems on that with them, because they respected things to a certain extent. And the local people, I think they quite liked them and that. So there wasn't really any problem in that. And there were two families in particular. They used to come along to Odstock in the spring, each spring, and as I say, work on the local farms and that. And so there were two families, and there was a family called the Scamps, and there were a family called the Lees. And what we're going to say about there was a man, one of the Scamps. He was called Joshua Scamp, and his daughter married one of the Lees, a boy named Noah Lee. Now, in 1801, there was a horse stolen around here, and horse theft was a very serious offence in those days, because horses, of course, were so important. And so it was a hanging offence. It sometimes even then used to get commuted, but officially it was a hanging offence. So there was this horse was stolen, and a coat was found at the scene of the crime, and it belonged to Joshua Scamp, the father, and he was arrested. And people were apparently a bit surprised in that, because he was an honourable man in that. Anyway, he came up for trial, and he was found guilty, and he was sentenced to be hanged. Now, the fact is, he actually didn't do the crime. It was Noah Lee, his son-in-law, who had stolen the horse. And it differs because there's different accounts of what happened in this. There's different accounts of this story. In some of them, he stole the coat, and in others, he deliberately took it along and left it at the scene. So, whatever, the fact was that it was Noah Lee who had committed the crime. He had stolen the horse, but Joshua Scamp got the blame for it. Now, Joshua Scamp, he did protest his innocence apparently, but he never revealed the truth as to what had happened, and he took the blame. and it seems he was protecting his daughter, who by some accounts was expecting a baby at the time. And it seems like he protected his daughter because he knew, of course, that Noah Lee would be hanged, her husband would be hanged, if it was known that he was the one who actually stole the horse. So he protected his daughter, he took the blame, he was hanged. And he was hanged in Salisbury at Fisherton Jail, or outside Fisherton Jail, as it was done in those days. I think it was a bit of a day out when there was a hanging, and that people used to go along and watch. They were more brutal times than we perhaps are used to now, although that's a matter of opinion. So some of the gypsies and his family were there at the hanging, and it said that Joshua said to his son-in-law Noah there, "See what you've brought me to," as he was going to be hung. So sadly, also, according to some accounts, it was all in vain anyway, because Noah Lee got caught not long afterwards stealing another horse, and he got hung shortly after that for stealing that horse. So unfortunately, it came to no good anyway. But it's odd, because being the fact that Joshua got hung, he is actually buried here in the churchyard. So it seems that he was liked, and the vicar buried him in the churchyard, so that it seems that it was realised that he was actually innocent. And as I say, he ended up being buried here in the churchyard. And so the gypsies, they used to gather here, because it was known that he was actually innocent. So they used to gather here on the anniversary of his death, and they used to have a little bit of a celebration, apparently. And they planted a rose. In some of one of the accounts, it says that they planted a yew tree, but it seems that they planted a rose. And these gatherings, they came to be a little bit raucous. They used to gather at the graveside, and they became a bit raucous, apparently. So I believe it was 1861. The vicar and church warden, they got a bit fed up with these rather raucous gypsies turning up, and so they grubbed up the rose. And when the gypsies arrived, they were angry about this, and so possibly as a result of the drink and that, whatever. Anyway. The account seems to be that they ransacked the church and they cut the bell ropes. So because of this, of course, the vicar was really angry about this, and he locked the door of the church and said that the gypsies would not be allowed access and would not be allowed to come again. Which they were angry, and there was what was called the Gypsy Queen, which was Mother Lee of the Lee family, and she put a curse on the church, and she put a curse on anyone who locked the door. She said the door must be left open. And she put a curse on anyone who locked the door, that they would die within a year. And this was taken seriously. How much of it came true, and that depends on which version of the story that you actually you actually read. And the vicar of the church, in the end, I think somebody had died, and he was obviously worried, and he took the key and he threw it into the local river. And in fact, the superstition carried on through the 20th century, and at the end of the 20th century, the Bishop of Salisbury came along and he lifted the curse. And as I say, there's various accounts of it and that, but that's basically the story. So Joshua Scamp, he wrongfully got hung. He took the blame for his son-in-law. That didn't really work out because apparently his son-in-law pinched another horse and he got hung anyway. But that was the story. So this over here, this is the grave of Joshua Scamp. And there is a rose bush still there as planted by the gypsies. And you can't read the inscription anymore, but they have put it here. So this is what was inscribed on the tombstone. In memory of Joshua Scamp, who died April 1st, 1801, may his brave deed be remembered to his credit here and hereafter. So there we are. So he died on April Fool's Day, 1801. So, make of that what you will. A gypsy curse was put on the church and on anyone who locked the door of the church. So let's see if the door is locked. Yeah. There we are. And this is the church. There's a lovely old organ there. Not as grand as some of the big cathedral organs, but quite good for a smallish church like this. And there's the stained glass window. So there you go. Make of it what you will. So some people have reported that the church has been locked when they've come along, but certainly this morning, there, the church is open. And this is the River Ebble. There's the church opposite. And this is the River Ebble, where presumably the key of the church door still is. And it's in full spate because we've had a lot of rain through this winter. And as you can see, the river's in full spate here. So there you go. Make make what you want of gypsy curses and that, but at the moment we have a big flock of rooks have just all arrived, just to add to a bit of atmosphere. I'll let you just listen to them all. So there we are. Perhaps that's the gypsy curse.